Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. This is episode 6, playing as the nation of Germany on FUHRERREICH, which is a mod for Hearts of Iron 4. This may be the final episode. We'll see what happens. It's July of 1941, and the war does not go well for me against the world, basically. So I've kind of made a few changes here. I'm trying to focus my Eastern Front against the Russians and the Hungarians by just kind of holding the line here and then pushing through over here to try to even things out. I don't see many troops on my line, which is kind of weird, but I also can't really advance. So I'm just going to try to even things out here. It looks like he's pulling all his troops off the line, and I don't know where they're going. I don't quite understand what he's thinking here. Likewise, I'm just trying to kind of hold the line against the Italians the best I can. Haven't done anything against the French. I've pulled most of my troops off of that line. The Dutch want to send 5 more divisions. That would be most welcome. Okay, here he goes. He's starting to get him back into line now. I didn't quite understand what was happening there. So we'll go ahead and advance now. See if we can at least push this and shorten the front a little bit. We'll see what happens. Alright, anyway, we're into August, and we'll kind of just keep an eye on what happens. Okay, so we're in August of 1941, and I've just gotten a bunch more divisions that I'm putting into the field. And what I'm going to do is, I've got basically 2 full armies over on the French front right now, and I moved one of them over to the Italian front. We're going to try to push and force something to happen here. I've definitely got to deal with this bulge right here in the line and see if I can smash that, make things a little easier. I'm kind of nervous about some units getting cut off here. So I'm basically going to assign this army right here to deal with that. Just basically give them that one little job to do. We'll see if they can't smash that and deal with that a little bit. We'll find out. I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference. That leaves me only 1 army defending the border with France, but nothing's happening there, and I've got some fortifications, so I think that would be enough if it comes to that. In terms of casualties, I've got 1.3 million now. Overall 1.88 for my side, but my fielded manpower continues to go up. His is going up a little bit, but I continue to close that gap, but it's still about a 3-to-1 situation. Alright, so I've started down this national focus tree, the TST debate. And yeah, we're gonna put them on the front line operations. That's what we have to do right now. It's just the reality of situations. So TST divisions, I believe we've already chosen now at this point. No, I guess not. We're gonna do that as elite troops. We can bypass that. And TST division is just gonna give me some bonuses to my existing armies, make them a little more elite, a little more effective. I am having a little bit of success over here in pushing this line back some, but I still believe basically all of my success is fleeting at best. We're working on these. Hellenic Republic took 5 states. They've annexed Bulgaria. I thought that already happened for some reason. I guess I'm wrong about that. I was probably thinking of Serbia. Maybe, I don't know. But Ottoman Empire is just about out of this. They are not long for the world. But overall, things are pretty static. I still feel it's just a matter of time before they overwhelm me, but my manpower is kind of staying right where it was. It doesn't seem to be going down a whole lot. Alright, TST divisions is done. We've also got our new fighters done, which will be nice because I desperately want to start winning the air war, but I just don't know if I can produce enough to make a difference. But we're up to fighter 2. I'm also going to go ahead and, while producing these fighter 2s, I always forget where it is. Here we go. Fighter 2. We're going to create a variant of those because I've got a ton of air experience available to me. Range isn't necessarily an issue for me right now, but engine and weapons. And then where's reliability? Oh yeah, that's not going to work. Let's go down on those. Let's get reliability up as high as we can. So 96% reliability. We're going to get a plus 5.4 to air attack, a 100% improvement in range, or no, I guess plus 100 kilometers, I guess that is, and in addition to max speed. So that's all going to be very helpful. We're going to start producing these FW-190As as quickly as I can possibly get them into the field, and hopefully they'll make a bit of a difference. In the meantime, national focus. Let's take a look here. I don't think these are, well, that's going to give me some bonuses to production costs and armored division attack, which might be helpful. No, can't do that. I don't have Adolf Hitler as my advisor, so we go with these ones here. Okay. In the meantime, doctrine. Air doctrine trees pretty well filled out. I can do fighter ace initiative. Oh no, we can only do one or the other. Land doctrine, also pretty much filled out. Alright, let's improve our artillery, I guess. Somehow managing, for the most part, to keep my trade going, even without really a functioning navy. I'm not even really doing anything with my navy. I guess I probably could, but I'll probably end up losing. We'll put Karl Dönitz out there. Just start him patrolling a little bit. And so here's the situation. Kind of even things out. I've sent another army down. I'm trying desperately to cut this area in two here. That would be such a huge help to me. But otherwise, we're kind of giving and taking on the territory. Nothing really changing a whole lot. My loss is at 2.16 million. His is about 500,000 more than that. Fielded manpower staying right about the same for him. Mine continues to creep up ever so slightly. My manpower is staying pretty static. I'm putting them into the field about as quickly as I'm losing them. So we'll see. Well, as things start looking better on the eastern front, a major disaster on the western front. I had an army get surrounded, actually more than an army, get surrounded over here and wiped off the map. So suddenly my Italian front has lost a bunch of divisions, and I've lost about somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 to 150,000 men in the process. Now the good news is my manpower is up to almost 500,000. The bad news is I suddenly have far fewer divisions on my Italian front than I had just a short time ago. So we're going to do some consolidating here. We're down to just 3 armies, and one of those only has half. So got to kind of reissue some orders here for this side. And I think I'm going to shift a few Eastern Front units over as well to kind of compensate for that. Hopefully we can turn this around still. Okay, state-owned TST Bureau and Special Forces are complete. Let's take a look and see where all this stands now. We do have all of these areas here, doctrine, effort, things like that I can focus on, but not right now. That gets me a national spirit. That got me a national spirit, which is going to give me bonuses to some different things, so that's helpful. We're going to expand the TST facilities, give me some more military factories going, so I can pump out some more equipment. We're almost into 1942, so I think we can go ahead and work on our next level of infantry equipment, the MG42s. Okay, so stabilize things over here on the Italian front. I've really pushed forward against the Soviets and their allies. I'm not sure why that is, but I'll take it. And then once I can kind of shorten this front to maybe right here by using Serbia to kind of separate what I'm dealing with, then I'll probably just kind of sit still and try to just fight defensively and let him just hurl his divisions at me as best he can. For a while there, I was starting to have some success with dealing with the air power issues, air superiority, but it looks like he's regained that air superiority now. So that's maybe had something to do with why I was able to break out on the eastern side, but we'll see. Well, there's some unwelcome news. Norway has joined the war on the side of the Soviets, but I guess if nothing else, that gives our Swedish allies in the north something to do. So let's look at the situation now. Only 2.12 million fielded manpower for me, whereas I've lost almost 3 million. He's lost about 3 million as well, but he's got 6.2. So those numbers have stayed almost where they were at the beginning of this episode. Very little change, but of course now what has changed is Sweden and Norway are fighting. And I am trying desperately to kind of hold the line over here against the Soviets. I opened up a gap inadvertently right here in the center, which he has started to pour through. I'm going to fix that just as soon as I can cut him off here in just a minute. Once I do that, I'll rebuild this line. But I've almost gotten things to where I wanted them. I just want to get this pushed right there so that I can shorten these fronts. That's really kind of the goal for me right now, is to fight on as short a front as possible and reduce the advantage that he has in manpower. Alright, so there it is. It's November 1941. I finally kind of sealed off that gap. Things are going to get a little easier now. I'm rushing some troops over to deal with this bulge. We push that bulge down to here, and then we'll be working with something that I can deal with. So here's where things lie at the moment. Oh, I have some more divisions ready to get into the field, so we're going to get them going. Okay, so not bad. Let's see what's happening up here in the north. All right, Sweden, so far so good. Looks like they're pushing out here. If they can smash Norway up here, boy, that could actually be really helpful to take out a Soviet ally. Plus, if the Soviets send troops to kind of help up there, which it appears they might be, I don't know. Norway's socialist now, that's the issue. Alright, he's building this bulge out even more over here now, so we've got to deal with this a little bit. Okay, there's expanded TST facilities. So let's take a look at, so that gives me some more factories in the field. That's helpful. Not a lot else for me to do right now, except, I suppose, to just focus on upgrading my military wherever possible. I mean, we can do army training, which gets my divisions trained a little quicker, and I can see that as being helpful, but my main issue isn't really more divisions, it's getting enough equipment to those divisions. But for now, that's what we'll do. So I got to deal with this bulge now that I've kind of dealt with this. Now I'm moving troops into position to deal with this bulge in the line. I've got a ton of armies over on the Soviet border, or the border with the Soviet territories. I'm starting to push this out now. If I can do this one last thing and close this gap and close this bulge and shorten my front with the Russians to this right here, just as I've done with the Italians, and now I've only got to have two armies on the Italian front to contain them because it's such a short border, I think I can at least stem the tide a little bit. I still don't think I can win just because of how much is up against me, but I can at least slow things down and maybe exhaust his manpower. I don't know. I'll probably exhaust my own manpower first. But he hasn't really gone up in fielded manpower at all, and his losses are over 3 million now. Of course, mine are too, almost there. But the Italians have lost 500,000. The French have lost over 500,000. I've lost over 2 million. The Soviets have lost 1.4 million, but they've got endless manpower, so that isn't really an issue for them. I'm working on a nuclear program, but that's a long ways off as well. Let's look at armor. We can go for Panzer IVs here. My mountain infantry 2 is almost complete. Nuclear reactor still got 400 days to go, because that's a 1943 technology I'm researching. And just when you think things are starting to kind of get stabilized a little bit down here, here come the French with a naval invasion in the north. So it's actually equatorial Africa that's invading me, believe it or not. But now we've got to rush some troops up there to deal with that. Man, it would be really great if I could get some other countries on my side, but there's just no way to do that because I can't influence any of them to my side with the Valkyries. So I guess we could get Denmark in our sphere of influence, but I'm really not sure exactly what that does, if anything. But as you can see, I can't get people on my side just because they don't want to get involved in the war, and I can't get them to join my faction for all the obvious reasons. So, alright, I was starting to rush these 7 divisions down to help out here, but it appears now I've got to change that because we've got to deal with this threat in the north. So we'll send this division to deal with that up here. I guess we'll maybe make them a garrison. Let's see. Yeah, it's not letting me do anything. Alright, we're just going to move them up here for now. Yes? No? I think they were strategically being redeployed, so they couldn't do anything at the time. Oh, here comes the... There's the landing we've got to deal with. Get them back up there, boys. Man, that's happening fast. They're halfway to Berlin already. It may not be enough. I may need to send more divisions than that up there. Come on, guys. Alright, so here we go. We're containing these guys now. I'm still going to need more divisions because he's pumped a bunch of divisions into that area, so I'm going to look at who I can send up that way. Because things are pretty well stabilized down here. I've stabilized the Italian front. He's got a bunch of divisions he's going to start hurling at me, but maybe we can send a few here and there. A few of these armored divisions up there. Let them help out. Because I've at least contained them. Now I need to push them back off the continent. Okay, so there's finally something I can do over here on the diplomacy side of things. Now that Norway and Sweden are at war, we can do Swedish divisions, which I'm not entirely sure what that'll do, except maybe give them some power that they didn't already have. So we'll see. I don't really have enough to push him off of here, but I think at the very least I've contained him now. Once I get some more divisions in the field, maybe we can actually attack them, but for now, not really a situation that I want to throw more divisions at and lose more men. Meanwhile, starting to close the bulge here, and when I do that, that'll shrink that front. That's kind of what I want to do now. That's my main focus. If we can do that by the end of this episode, I'll feel like I've at least gained ground from the start to the finish of things. Okay, so they finally gave me the green light to go ahead with the attack to push the French out of the north, so we're going forward with that, and it looks like it's going pretty well so far. Down in the south, kind of more of the same. I'm a little nervous now about this. They've pushed back a little bit on this side, so I'm rushing some more troops over here to stabilize that line. Things have slowed down on the bulge, though I am continuing to make progress there as well. We've got our new, looks like we've got our new light tanks ready to roll off the assembly line here. And we're going to get an expeditionary force of 2 divisions from the Dutch state. Every little bit helps. So we're up to light tank 3s. And I think we'll go ahead and look for a variant on those right off the bat. Because I've got 437 army experience and climbing. Let's go up a little bit on okay, we can go more than that for sure. want to keep reliability as high as I can. Guess we can't go quite that high. There we go. So now we're going to go light tank with the Zeki A. Zeka A. And we've got some new divisions in the field, which I think we will not need in the north. Excellent. So we can send them south instead. I am going to keep that army in the north just for now, at least the infantry. I'll send the Panzer Division south. Keep the infantry up there just in case he gets any ideas about doing that again. And the bulge is starting to get flattened out, so that's some good news. We'll push down into here. Once we do that, I think that'll be a good place to stop for today. I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be the last episode. I thought there's no way I stood a chance of holding on against him. For whatever reason I have. Let's see what's happened. Oh, but we're about to lose Sweden. So the one significant ally I had is about to be toast. So that's some very bad news there. Certainly doesn't help things at all. Yeah, Sweden's down to about half. I mean, they only had 34 divisions anyway, but still, it was an ally. For the first time, my enemies, though, are down. It looks like the field and manpower has dipped a little bit. So, I don't know what that means, but we'll take it. So, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up right here. Pretty short episode, but a lot's happened. And even though it's short for you, it's actually taking me about an hour and a half to play this. Just because of the speed at which we're simming at this point. A bunch of national focuses just got bypassed, I think, because Sweden's out of things for the most part. So, let's take a look at that real quick. I don't know where that is, but we're going to raise taxes. And we'll wrap up right there. So let me know your thoughts. I didn't think I'd hang on. I still probably don't think I can hang on long term, but I'll hang on as long as possible. And in the meantime, let me know your thoughts. Please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching.